So Premier League Game Week 5 Saturday was somewhat exciting, somewhat not. The first game, we'll talk about it later. First, we'll talk about how Man United swam to a win. And it might as well been a UFC game because what was going on. Very little quality in games affected by rain. And it is one of those rare occasions where a football game should also be called off or for suspended for a period of time because the pitch is not good enough to play. Like you cannot use your pace, you cannot use a lot of attributes that right now in this generation and this time of players, I think physicality, pace, all these things are very crucial. And if the pitch is not friendly enough to use those skills, then you should not play because it is not good for crowd also. But uh, football games are difficult to manage because you cannot just reschedule them anytime you want because managers would start crying even more, and obviously they cry for a good reason, but you don't want managers to complain more about fixtures than they already do. And crucial win for Man United obviously, and crucial win for Amarin. And I think yeah, this is basically nothing special. Amarin didn't do anything extraordinary or special in this game that changed the roadmap of where Manchester United were going, but he will take it for his own job. I don't think the kind of process Amarim has showed. He's more of a he's someone who is basically surviving, not trying to make a process out of it and then executing and sticking to it. Yes, he doesn't change his formation, but still, I don't think like playing Casemiro. Why are you playing Casemiro in 2025? Those things should be questioned, obviously, but people I mean, I saw Goldbridge questioning it. I am sure a lot of people will be questioning it. But the fact that you won and now everything will be okay in Manchester United, that is what keeps pushing you back until you find that solution where you find someone who will follow the process, who will connect to the club like it's his own club, and you need all those things to take you forward basically. And if you just want to copy at it and everything seems to you to be a process, and you need to stick to your formation. I don't think sticking to a formation is equal to process firstly is mentality, then it is the connection to your club, then it is the atmosphere you create, the messaging you give through your team, and then it is in the end it is something like formation. But even with formation you cannot be so rigid. You need to be, your team needs to know the purpose they are on the field, but they should know like, okay, these are the types of formations we should play when we play this team, and these are the type of formations we can play if we play another team. Like for defensive teams you can have a different solution, in for attacking team you can have a different solution. So like that you should manage, but I don't think anything is being managed. This Ange Postecoglou and Ruben Amorim thing of sticking to the process is not good enough, I feel. And my battery is discharged. One thing you should not watch in football, for sure. One thing you should not watch is West Ham. West Ham should quit football, I have written, and it is a humble request because what the hell was that match? If anyone even attempted to watch it like me, I don't think if I don't think you will be in love with football anymore because it is the most boring, random stuff going on. No combination play, nothing. They are just dinking the ball, and somehow Mateta scored a header, and then somehow West Ham equalized, and then uh, again a random ball on in the box, and Mitchell scored a good goal. That was the only good thing about this match. That one strike. Except that nothing was good about it. So West Ham, please quit football. Spurs obviously will laugh at Spurs because see they have a good manager now. They are disciplined. They will not concede as many goals as they used to previously. But the thing is that They are Spurs and they'll always be Spurs. Now they came back and they did equalize and they drew the match, but the fact is that they got dominated by Brighton, and at the start of the game when they were 2-0 down, it was all Brighton, and they basically humbled the Spurs people who were like they are over the moon after the initial phase of the Premier League always, but then slowly they come back to earth. So it is good that, and Brighton is one of the teams that show them their reality all the time. So yeah, happy with that game. And actually, I was watching West Ham game. I have no idea why I was watching the West Ham game, but I missed out on the Spurs game. But yeah, I saw it in bits, and it was basically end to end good football, good match, and it was pacey. Xavi Simons had a lot of chances. He should have scored one goal at least, and at the end Spurs should have won the match, but they could not take their chances. Xavi Simons looks good, and if you play FPL, you can pick him there. Liverpool, I mean honestly, they have a really good striker. They have really two good strikers. Ekitike is brilliant, and Mo Salah obviously is very sharp. And the movement, the kind of movement Mo Salah has, if you imagine this to be the right side, the moment he picks the ball, he's straight there. He doesn't dilly dally thinking about it. He's straight there dribbling, trying to cut in. And in case a defender doesn't want him to cut in, then he goes there and crosses, which is also effective sometimes, but not a lot of times. But when you allow him to cut in, he's always there. He's always very actively looking to go in the middle of the pitch towards the goal, and that is the key to his success. Like, he's so efficient, he knows what to do, and he has found a way to just keep relentless pressure on defenses, and that is what is good about Liverpool. And one thing I will have to apologize before this player becomes one of the best midfielders we have ever seen. Sort of, he it would be silly of me to admit this after he becomes better than Steven Gerrard for Liverpool. That Gravenberch is actually a really good midfielder. He is actually not a good midfielder, he is a brilliant midfielder. Today, the weight of pass for that goal, and then the weight of shot for that goal he scored. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I think, yeah, Liverpool are too efficient, too good, too strong, and they concede a goal again, and they are prone to conceding goals. But if you have a Ekitike and then you sub him off with Alexander Isaac, and then your midfield is fit and intact, your defense is doing fine right now. So it is it is simply that Liverpool concede one goal lesser than they score, and that is happening all the time in this season, and that is good enough for them. Now the only way you can beat Liverpool is basically, probably you will need to take absorb the storm like Arsenal did in the first half. First half, you have to absorb the storm, you have to let them play, you have to let them fight for duels, etc., etc., make the game messy, slow. But then when the second half comes, you cannot let them dominate and settle down and dictate the game, because if they have the hold of the ball and they want to score a goal, they will score a goal. They are good enough. Mo Salah will strike. If Mo Salah doesn't, Gakpo will come from the other wing. If they don't, then Words will find a ball. If Words doesn't, then Soboslai will hit a banger from 35 yards. If they don't, then their striker Ekitike or Alexander Isaac will create a magic moment. So they have a lot of things. And if no one does anything, then Virgil van Dijk will score a header. So they have a lot of options. They have a lot of options in attack. So you have to dominate in the second half when you come from the go, and you have to basically put their defense on in under pressure. And in the first half, you have to slow the game down and you have to bore them, and you basically don't have to be 2 goals down, because in the second half, if you also come back and to play football, and you also try to dominate and put pressure on their defense, they are prone to conceding goals. And if they concede a goal first, then it will be tricky for them to score 2 goals and win the game. Even though they can score goals, but they will be very They'll be very weak coming from one goal down, because they'll be prone to counter attacks, and if they go all out to attack, they will also concede a lot of goals going back to their own goal. So that is how you can basically defeat Liverpool, I feel. And Arsenal, Arteta did the first half well, but he was too late with his substitutions. That is why Liverpool ended up dominating, and then they somehow scored a goal. So yeah, they march on, and as an Arsenal fan, I am a bit. Yeah, it looks like they will not. Basically, they will not. I don't think they'll drop a lot of points, and this is going to be one of those 98, 99 point season maybe, and Arsenal need to keep up with that. And if they don't, they'll just, yeah, they'll end up with 89, 88 points, 10 points below Liverpool again. And that is the kind of level you have to be at. Only if Liverpool lose one or two games by conceding early goals, then it might dent their confidence, and if they have some injuries in midfield, then probably they will fall down and they'll come to 80, 85 levels. But right now it looks like they are on a 100 season goal, and let's see who they play next also, because tomorrow we obviously have Arsenal versus Manchester City, and Arsenal play Newcastle after that, so it will be a problematic thing. But Crystal Palace, who are unbeaten, they are going to go away at Crystal Palace, so maybe there's something can happen, and then they have to go away at Chelsea, and then they have to invite Manchester United, then they have to go away at Brentford, and then they have to go welcome Aston Villa, and then Manchester City. So okay, basically then next 5-6 fixtures are going to be tough, and yeah, maybe, because even if you see Brentford away, they struggled and scored a last minute goal last season, so they do struggle a lot against these type of sides. Crystal Palace, we know historically how they struggle against them. So as an Arsenal fan, I'll only hope that they sort of drop points in at least two games, and Arsenal somehow goes past this Manchester City and Newcastle fixture with a win. If Arsenal wins these two fixtures, then there will be pressure for Liverpool, because then Arsenal will have easier fixtures, and then they can accumulate points. And Liverpool playing Manchester City, Manchester United, and Chelsea. In that period, they will, if they drop, let's say if they lose to Chelsea somehow, then they'll be with equal points with Arsenal, and then Arsenal will have the opportunity. They have the middle goal difference, so Liverpool will come to second, and then there will be pressure for Liverpool to win every game. Otherwise, they'll be left behind. So those sort of things, obviously, that happened last season also, and is happening this season also. Liverpool don't seem to care about these things; they keep winning. But as an Arsenal fan, I hope that we can apply some pressure by not dropping any points against Manchester City and Newcastle, and that will only happen if we play bravely. If we play like tactically, and then respect Pep Guardiola, respect Newcastle and St James's Park, then it will be tough for Arsenal to keep up, because we'll end up drawing one of these games, and then it will be not good, because then we'll give Liverpool basically a buffer of 5 points, 6 points, 7 points, and then they'll not feel the pressure even in the big games. They'll not feel the pressure to score a goal when they are at 0-0 or 1-1 or 2-2 at 70th minute. Yeah, they score anyway, but they'll not feel the pressure if we are not within 3 points to Liverpool. So that is the thing. And yeah, that was the Premier League weekend, and let's hope Arsenal wins today. I'll see you tomorrow when Arsenal play Manchester City. Okay, bye.